Oh, hey there, how's it going? Today I'm gonna show you how to do this. This thing right here is absolutely, unbelievably, incredibly amazing. When I got into filmmaking, you would just never even guess that today this is the kind of stuff we would be creating with. It's a good time to be into this kind of stuff, you know? Let me set it down, hold on. All right, so if you're new to this channel, we do a lot of cinematography, photography, tutorials, tips and tricks, and today I'm gonna show you how to do this time lapse. Not even gonna waste any time, let's just go ahead and do it. So before we go fly, there's just a couple things you need to set up real quick. So go ahead and connect to your drone, go into your DJI Go 4 app. All right, so the first thing that we're gonna wanna do in here is toggle over to your camera. Put it into camera settings and go into manual. Now the first thing you're gonna wanna do for ISO, you can go anywhere between 100 and 400. We'll just put it on 400. For the aperture, you want as much light as you can get since you're basically in no light outside. So we'll do 2.8 for the aperture, but the Mavic 2 Pro is sharpest between 2.8 and f4, and I find it's a little bit sharper at f4. So if you're willing to do a longer exposure time, you can jump up to f4 if you want. Next thing you're gonna wanna do is go into your shutter. We're gonna do, let's see, for the shutter, let's jump to, I find that about 1/4 of a second works the best. You can do longer exposures for really cool light trails. The only thing though is if it's really windy outside, you might get a blurry picture. So it's kind of do it at your own risk kind of thing. All right, so that's your manual camera settings set up. The next thing you're gonna wanna do is go into your settings tab over here and see where it says save original hyperlapse. Make sure you turn that on and switch it to RAW, because the Mavic 2 Pro is gonna create its own hyperlapse for you, but it's not gonna look anywhere near as good as if you were to shoot these in raw stills, and then we can turn them into a time lapse later on in post. So that's what we're gonna do. Go ahead and put that on raw, and at that point, you're pretty much good to go. So let's go outside and shoot. Okay, so once you're up in the air and you find a really cool area that you think looks good for a hyperlapse, you're gonna basically go into the side tab here, see the little controller flight mode icon, click that, and you're gonna see a bunch of different flight modes. Choose hyperlapse. So we're gonna go ahead and click waypoint, and go ahead and tap this little plus icon here when you get your first angle that you like. And then all you do is fly the drone to somewhere else. Once you get to a spot that you think is cool for the end of your time lapse, go ahead and stop and tap the plus button again. And what that's gonna do is create another waypoint. So after you do that, click go, and it's gonna go ahead and start doing its time lapse, pretty much all automatic by itself. Once it's done, it's gonna synthesize a video, and that's the video that we don't want because it's gonna crush the blacks, you're gonna lose a bunch of dynamic range. It's also shakier than if we were to do this with the still. So now that we're done shooting our hyperlapse, let's go ahead and get back inside, and I'll show you what to do next.
Oh, hey guys! I know I'm not Aaron. Alright guys, so now we need to import the photos from your hyperlapse. To do that, you go to the special folder that calls hyperlapse, and you just import photos in the Lightroom. Alright, so once you did that, you just pull up the first photo and edit it however you like. And for you, we're gonna include the preset of how we did it in this video. After you did that, you go to Photo, Copy Edit Settings. Easy. Alright. Now you hold Shift and go to the last photo, and then Photo, Paste Edit Settings. Even easier. Alright, once you do that, you go to this icon here, Export JPG Large. Alright, so now put all these files in one folder so you know where it is, because we're gonna use it for Premiere Pro, which Aaron is going to show you how to do.
So go ahead and save all those files in a folder, and we'll go ahead and jump in Premiere. Oh, hello Misha. My cat's really interested in hyperlapses and all kinds of cinema stuff. Just don't show him your butt. Stop it. Sorry guys. Okay, so now that we're in Premiere Pro, let's create a project. We'll just name it Hyperlapse 01. Click OK. And we're gonna go to File, Import. Remember those photos? Now we need them. So go to that folder. Make sure you do sort by name though, because if you do sort by date, it's gonna totally screw up your hyperlapse. So sort by name and select your first photo, options, image sequence, click import. And there you go. We're done. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this. Okay, never mind. If you look at the properties of this file, see it's 5,500, roughly about, so it's a 5K photo basically. So that's cool, but we need to have a little bit more room to work, you know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and get out of here. I just wanted to show you, you're actually shooting in 5K when you do this. So go down on the properties of the photo, then you're gonna go to Modify, Interpret Footage, and do Assume Frame Rate 23.976. Click OK. Okay, so now we need to actually create a sequence. So go into the red R3D, that's what I like to use just to do a basic 4K sequence. Do 4K, 16 by 9, 23.976. Click OK, that's gonna give you a nice template that you can go ahead and work with. After you do that, we're gonna go ahead and drop our footage. Make sure you do keep existing settings. Now you'll notice it's kind of punched in. That's because it's a 5K file and we're working in a 4K timeline. So you actually have room to zoom in and out without losing any resolution. Yeah. It's way better to work this way. So now that we try to play back our hyperlapse, you'll notice it's really choppy and horrible. And even if we go in and drop this to 1/4 of the resolution, it's actually like not even gonna play at all. That's because JPEG is really not meant to play back at 23.976 frames per second. So I got a fix for that. I'll show you what to do. Right click your footage here and do, let's see, render and replace. Do sequence, QuickTime, Apple ProRes 422, next to original media. We don't need any handles. Let's click OK. Let that render do its magic like it's doing now. Okay, now you'll see when you try to play back this file, it's perfectly smooth. Plays back just fine. That's because we rendered into a ProRes file basically. Yeah, looks great. Okay, cool, but you see how it's like shaky everywhere and it's not very stable. We're gonna fix that right now. You already guessed it, type in warp stabilizer. After you do that, just drop it on your footage, let it analyze. You can leave it at its regular preset settings, should be fine. Depending on your clip, as long as it wasn't really windy outside, you should be okay. Okay, so it's stable. See when we play it back, we have a beautiful, nice night hyperlapse. And it's so much better doing it this way because you have control over the raw photo, so you can really make it look like however you want. You know, versus just using the built-in hyperlapse mode in the Mavic 2 Pro, it would not look like this. So take the extra step, go the extra mile, put in the extra effort, and you'll get a much better time lapse. Hyperlapse. Why do I keep saying time lapse? It's a hyperlapse. Ugh! So many terms these days, you know. I don't know. Oh, there is one more thing I wanted to show you. So if you want to like zoom in your hyperlapse while it's moving, you can create some really cool parallax effects. Just go into scale and you can set a keyframe. Then go into the end of it, set another keyframe, change your scale, and hit play. And there you have it. A beautiful zooming hyperlapse. Anyways, there you have it. That's how you create a really awesome time lapse. Gah! Hyperlapse. Sorry, that's how you create a really awesome hyperlapse. And since you're shooting it in RAW, it's so much better this way. Give it a try. I promise you won't be disappointed with your results. As long as you just don't fly in a tornado, you should be fine. So get out there, go shoot some hyperlapses. I'd love to see what you guys do, and I will see you on the next one. If you liked this video, you better like and subscribe. If not, I'm gonna release my killer kitty on you and he's gonna come get ya.